What up, what up? It's your boy LQ, Mr. Real Deal Fantasy HQ. You see the face, you know the case, and it's another great show on Destination Debbie YouTube channel, TL Fantasy, with my co-host, Troy Motherfucking King.
Hey, bro, I like that you are in such a good mood after some of the news that came out today. Listen, y'all, we got a lot to talk about, man. We got a lot of news that came out. Some of the news makes my friend LQ very, very sad. Oh, so freaking sad.
We in good spirits today, baby. We in good spirits, even with bad news. We keeping all the low vibration energy away. But we got some great topics to hit on today, other than my Rams. But you know, holidays are coming up. Let's try to keep it positive. So make sure you like and subscribe and show some support. Please get those comments going because we have the start and sit Q&A later in the show. But let's dip into the first segment. We have some news today. And we're going to start with the Panthers. And if you were living under a rock, Sam Darnold has been named the starter going into this week against the Denver Broncos. Like, where are we at with this? Like, what the hell?
Do we gotta talk about Sam Darnold and the Panthers, my guy? Oh, this is disgusting. I don't want to start the show off with it. We gotta talk about it. So let's talk about the Panthers situation real quick, right? So we start off the year with Baker Mayfield, then we went to PJ Walker, and then we went to Baker Mayfield again, and now we're at Sam Darnold. Like, this is just tank city.
They just trying to see what they got in the quarterbacks.
And Matt Corral, who they drafted, he's been hurt. Like he's been hurt. So it just he's been done for the season. So it's
that's what makes it weird though. They have, I guess, the future like there, but he's injured right now, so they can't really get a bar.
I don't know if he's gonna be the future anymore, my guy.
I think he's probably better than what the fuck they got right now. I mean, to be honest. He's young. He's talented. I liked him come out of college, his tape. And listen, I'm telling you right now, PJ Walker needs to be on that team for X amount of years. He's a decent backup. I really feel as though he can get some games under his belt.
Yeah, listen. Oh, by the way, y'all, while you're listening, make sure y'all drop your questions in here. Make sure y'all liking the video. Helps us out a lot. But make sure y'all dropping questions in here. We're going to get to those towards the end of the show. Just a reminder. But yeah, back to Carolina. So here's the thing. So who do you think should be starting for this team? If all of them are healthy, do you think it should be PJ Walker, Baker? Do you think Sam Darnold is the choice? What do you think?
I say, listen, there's a lot of money in Sam Darnold and Baker, but they're just absolutely terrible. But if you're tanking and you're looking for who's potentially going to be on this team next year, I think you have to go with Baker. I think you have to just ride it out. Let him get these reps. Let him do what Baker has been doing for the last X amount of years. PJ Walker, I think he's a solid backup. No matter the equation, he's in between the starter and the third string quarterback. So he needs to be there. So if you're going to go with Matt Corral, Baker, PJ Walker next year, so be it.
Yeah, I mean, I knew Baker was not going to be great in Carolina. I didn't expect him to be as bad as we've seen, right? And I don't know if it's just the play calling. I don't know if it's the line. I don't know if it's Baker. I mean, it's all of them. It's every single one of them. But Sam Darnold, I think right now is just, I think the way they've been playing so far, like, yeah, let's get off the Panthers. But I mean, right now, yeah, we'll go off the Panthers. But right now, let's see what Sam Darnold can do. It can't be any worse than what we've seen.
Nah, but listen,
let's go to the next pair of news. Let's go to the next pair of news, right? So let's go to the Rams news. The people want to talk about the Rams news real quick.
I see the comments. I see y'all in there, man. But
the comments. We need these comments, man. So we got to talk about it. Let's leave this up, right? So the next one.
That's the one.
Shockingly, Darrell Henderson, he was waived. When I saw that came through, I thought it was like a fake account for a second. Like, nah, no way. Their best running back. They just cut. Oh, Lord. All hell's going to break. Again, if they had a first-round pick, I would get it. But basically, they're just giving the Lions a top 5 pick with this strategy. But tell me, as a resident Rams fan on this show, what are your thoughts about this move, bro? Like, it seems a little bit odd to me, but when you saw that news come through, what were you feeling, man?
My face just was like, you know what? It's what it is. But overall, you got to look at the move like, listen, we have no hope for the season. Cooper Kupp likely shut down for the rest of the season. Matthew Stafford might be contemplating retirement with these concussions. And we're looking at the running back stable. You have Kyron Williams, you're trying to get involved. You're trying to get him reps. And then you have Cam Akers, who's still whatever. But Darrell Henderson needs to be on a team that's going to appreciate what he's been putting on tape, what he's been putting out on the field. He's their best, most efficient running back. So you cut him, you're looking at it like, what did he do? But from his tweet, what that we saw, it might have been, him asking for it. He's at the point of the season where he's like, listen, it's a dub for this season. I have no reason to play. Like, I'm going to go to a contender. I can see the Chiefs putting their name in the hat for him. And that's honestly something I can see happening, even with Melvin Gordon. We'll get to him in a second. But I can see him wanting to go to a team that's actually going to appreciate what he's done. Your best yards per carry, your most explosive player, able to hit the holes. Great balance this year. The vision's improving. He's a good running back that deserves to be on the team that's going to appreciate him.
Listen, I think the Broncos are going to be the first callers. I think it's going to be the Broncos. The Jets. I know they have James Robinson and Michael Carter, but that wouldn't be a crazy signing. But I think that Broncos make the most sense for me for Darrell Henderson. Yeah. Melvin Gordon, but we could talk about that's a good transition, right? But we'll decide to get to Melvin Gordon in a second. But I was shocked. I don't know if this is more about Cam Akers or more about Kyron Williams, right? I feel like we've heard for weeks how much they like Kyron Williams.
Yeah.
But we haven't gotten that same energy about Cam, right? But then obviously Cam wanted to get traded. They didn't, that they were wanting him, so they brought him back, and he looked.
Here's the thing. Here's the little layer behind that I didn't realize why all this was going. Darrell Henderson was on a contract year, so therefore he was out of here next year either way. They spent, a decent amount of draft pick capital on Cam Akers, and it's only been 2 years. So it's like they want to ride Cam Akers out as a stable person who has knowledge of the offense, who has the reps. So Kyron Williams can slowly progress. We've seen this cycle happen after Todd Gurley, Malcolm Brown, and then they draft Darrell Henderson. Darrell Henderson, they draft Cam Akers. Cam Akers, now they have Kyron Williams. This cycle is going to continue going until we could find a workhorse running back for the Rams. And I feel like, Cam Akers for the rest of this season for fantasy purposes, he's on the waiver wire, 30%, rostership, but you're not in that deep of in the field where you have no reason to go get Cam Akers right now. I would get Kyron Williams though.
I'd get both. I get whoever's available, waivers.
Who's giving me targets?
Look, Kyron Williams is going to be more of the target guy, but I feel like, both of them are going to get run, right? Even though they're on a bad team, both of them are going to get run. So I think that you got to make sure that target whoever, right? Put in a little bit of fab on each of them. They're both going to be involved in this offense, right? Roddy Rivers isn't going to be the dude. So it's going to be Kyron Williams and Cam Akers show.
This offense sucks.
No, it's terrible. But look, at these times, you have injuries galore. Sometimes beggars can't be choosers, man. You got to pick somebody.
Yeah, I don't want high expectations when you pick up Kyron Williams and I get starting to add it and my DM start blowing up. So
okay, that's fine. Let's talk about Melvin Gordon real quick. We kind of talked about him a little bit, but Melvin Gordon, he got waived. He's a free agent. Nobody claimed him.
Nobody.
Right, Mr. Fumbles. He's the fumbleitis. He got the fumbleitis, and nobody wants him. No. So where do you think, if you had to shoot your shot, where do you think he signs? Right? Who do you think signs him?
It's hard, man. I don't know. I feel like, again, we keep going back to the Chiefs, and I only say that because the Chiefs had their name in the hat for Eno Benjamin, and Eno Benjamin, is way less than a Melvin Gordon. You know what I mean? So I can see them going after him, but I just don't know if it'll be this week that we'll see a Melvin Gordon signing. I honestly see Darrell Henderson getting signed before Melvin Gordon. So in likes of you having any shares of both of these players, I would hold on until week 14. And I say week 14 because it's like right before playoffs or to miss the playoffs, because you never know, these players get signed and then they get hot and then they do what they do on the new team.
Yeah, and I'm also surprised because of the lack of depth that the Broncos have. Right, they're just fed up with him, but Chase Edmonds, who they just traded for, is on IR now. Yeah. He's on IR. Mike Boone's on IR. They brought in Malcolm.
Mike Boone might be playoffs soon. I think they opened up his window to come back. So that's probably why they made the move, because they were getting him back. But Latavius Murray looks like to be the guy that can be locked for
the
at least 500 yards.
The fact that old Latavius Murray is the starting running back in that backfield tells you everything you need to know. He just won't. I feel like Latavius Murray has been around for a million years, and he's not going away.
To my coworker, he said Latavius Murray is the Fitzpatrick.
UCF, bro, UCF alum, bro. Shout out to Latavius Murray, bro. And it's crazy.
Fitzpatrick of running backs, though, and that's so spot on, though. Like he's going to be around forever.
Exactly. Someone talking about David Johnson. Yeah, he's super old. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that the Saints could bring him. We could Houston, I think, put in a claim for Benjamin. So I think Houston's gonna want either Darrell Henderson or maybe kick their tires on Melvin Gordon. We shall see. But man, there's so many other things we need to talk about, man. Let's talk about Zach Wilson real quick. Let's talk about Zach Wilson. I think that's the last bit of news we'll get into before we get into Glizzy Gobbler and waivers. All right. Zach Wilson. So clearly he has been bad.
Ass.
He's been ass. I guess for lack of a better term, he's been ass, right? And it's that game. He's been bad for a long time, but Sunday's game was absolutely atrocious. But he said it wasn't his fault. Remember in the interview, he said no.
Yeah, I remember that.
He said, "Did you let the defense down?" He said, "Nah." He's like,
"I don't play defense."
Exactly. It couldn't be my fault. You know what I mean? It can't be my fault.
Touchdowns. Like, bro. Listen, this is what makes me mad about the Jets, bro. Like, Mike White, Joe Flacco, whoever. It's 3-3 going into the fourth quarter. Zach Wilson has 7 fucking completed passes. Get him out of there. Bench him. Put in somebody who can give the offensive spark, because we've seen it with freaking John Johnson. We've seen it with Mike White, Joe Flacco last
season. Mike White was looking like a superstar in some of his starts last week. Everyone was looking better than Zach Wilson. That's the crazy part. Everybody.
That's crazy. You have this knowledge. You have this memory of like, man, Mike White came in, he kind of turned up. Oh, Joe Flacco came in and game managed the situation. Like, it's 3-3 going into the fourth. Why are you still having Zach Wilson out there?
But like, you know what? And I'll tell you why, right? The problem is that they spent the second overall pick on this man last year.
He's ass.
No, but listen, yes, he's clearly ass, but you know what? They have to make sure that he is complete ass. They have to make sure that he's ass because they spend such a high
check if he's ass.
It's true. They have to, because they spend such a high draft pick on him, right? So last year he was injured. They're like, oh, okay, Zach Wilson, we're going to put all these pieces around you, get you Garrett Wilson. We're going to see what you can do. And then it hasn't looked good. It's not been impressive. He has the same completion percentage as he did last year. For the sake of the team, their defense is elite. I'm saying elite. Their defense is absolutely elite. But in their offense, if their offense could just be competent, just even a little bit competent.
Decent.
What's crazy is if they won that game, and that was a must-win game. If they won that game, they would be first in the division. They would be on top of the AFC East. Because they lost that game with only putting up 3 points, they're last. That was such a big game for them. And now it's like, again, they lost to the Patriots, but they have wins over the Bills and they have over the Dolphins. But the way things are looking offensively, it doesn't matter that they beat us and they have to play the Bills again. They have to play the Dolphins again. But the way that offense is looking, and remember, they beat the Dolphins with the backup quarterback, right? They beat them with, so that wouldn't even count anyway. But anyways, they're in trouble. They're absolutely in trouble. Yeah. And I think Mike White, because Joe Flacco has been inactive. For some reason, I don't get it. He actually looked good those first few games. I don't know why they're making him inactive. He should be the backup. Yeah, he should be the backup over Mike White.
My man was top 3 in fucking passing yards the first 3 weeks, people. And top 5 passing yards per game. Jets were first in pass percentage. And, like, there's a bunch of stats we can rattle off where they were a top 10 offense. But, ironically, the defense wasn't playing as good the first 3 weeks, which is terrible. So, if they were playing lights out how they're playing now in the first 3 weeks, Joe Flacco will probably still be the starting quarterback.
But we'll see. I mean, clearly they're making a change, right? Like, he's already mentioned. Oh, I did like this part that Chris mentioned, right? Elijah Moore had that picture on IG where he's throwing a QB. It's just, everyone knows he's been bad.
That was petty.
But the thing about like it was against a Bill Belichick defense, which the New England defense is really good, but there's no excuse why your team cannot put up more than 3 points. And what he was, I think, what was it? He was negative 21 passing yards or something like that in the second half, or something atrocious like that. Something that like you and I can do. If you want negative yards, call me. I can get you negative yards. I'm not saying
-30.
Yeah, because people make the joke all the time, like, oh, we fans and we can't do this. You're right, we can't play an NFL position, but I can throw the ball backwards. That's one thing I can do.
10 yards. I can get you 10 yards on the ground and through the air. I got you.
Nah, listen, I can get you negative 10, which is made negative 20. But anyways, I digress. We've been talking about Zach Wilson and all these garbage things too much. Let's get
the Glizzy Gobbler.
Let's get the Glizzy. Let's talk about Glizzy. Start out with your Glizzy first, bro. Your Glizzy Gobbler of the week. For those who don't know, Glizzy Gobbler of the week is basically someone we had a high expectation for who let you down. LQ, who is your Glizzy Gobbler of the week, man?
I'm gonna pause you because you was just like, yo, get to your Glizzy. Like, bro, what?
Yeah, get to your Glizzy Gobbler, bro.
All right, I got it.
Get to your Glizzy Gobbler. Get to your Glizzy Gobbler.
You keep saying it and it sounds disgusting.
Get to your Glizzy Gobbler, bro. It's on you. Do your thing. It's yours. Right, your time to shine.
Listen, I'm gonna get into DeAndre Swift. Like, yes, he found the end zone last week, but we're not really looking at bigger picture here. Like, I've been watching this very closely because I have one share Swift, and like the last 3 games, he's only averaged 9 fantasy points per game. People, that is not good. That is not good for a high-profile player like DeAndre Swift. And listen, they're winning. They're on a 3-game winning streak, so there's really nothing that they need to fix. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And Jamal Williams has been looking like the stud. And like they're actually 4-1 this season in games where Swift has played 51% or less of the offensive snaps. So for the rest of the season, we're constantly going to be questioning and thinking like, can we start Swift this week? Are we going to start Swift? Is he going to play more than 30% of the snap share? We don't know. So this is a huge question mark for Swift. So he gets the Glizzy Gobbler crown this week for me.
I feel like Swift is no more than a flex. If you could bench him, he could ride your bench, or you can risk it and put him in your flex, but nothing more than that. It's just he's been disappointing. They've been limiting him, and Jamal Williams is the touchdown king. What? He's leading everybody in touchdowns.
Yes,
which should be Swift, but it's like I'll be honest. I have a contending team in Dynasty, and it seemed a little gross at the time, but I'm competing. I'm second in the league. I traded a second for Jamal Williams. You know why? Because one, I needed a running back. I don't want to pay too much for a running back, and this man keeps scoring all these dang touchdowns. I traded a second real quick. Yo, Jamal, I need you to score these touchdowns on my team.
And the thing is, Swift has always been a guy that split the red zone. He's never had the red zone to himself. And these are important areas of the field where like these guys put up points. If he's splitting the red zone or not getting the red zone at all, what are we really wanting out of like DeAndre Swift? Like, I'm trading him for whatever I can get because he still has fanboys out there. He still has people that are really pushing for him. So he's one of those players his name is still like selling.
But I think like he's talented though, right? So like you should be investing in talent. I wouldn't want to trade him now because everyone's seeing how much he sucks, right? Because there are people who believe in him, but maybe we just don't believe that he's ever going to be that workhorse guy. Then look, with all due respect, if you want to trade him. But I feel like he's talented. We've seen him explode. We see his potential. And obviously, he's coming from an injury. He's still dealing with that, right? Why not wait? I would rather wait until he balls out again, looks like Swift, and then if you don't feel like he's confident in him, then you could trade him. Right now, I don't know if it's the time to trade him. But let me get to my Glizzy Gobbler. We talked about your Glizzy Gobbler.
You gonna put ketchup on it?
Nah, listen. It'll be mustard. Mustard.
Look like a mustard.
Man, listen. Anyways, bro, I'm going to talk about my Glizzy Gobbler of the week. Is Dameon Pierce, Mr. Superman. He was a fantasy superstar all season. The one guy you thought you could rely on. The Houston Texans, it was crazy because the Houston Texans are obviously the worst team in the NFL, but they had one consistent player. Dameon Pierce. You can always trust Dameon Pierce to save your fantasy week, except for on Sunday. Would you guys like to know what his stat line is Sunday? This man had 10 attempts for 8 yards. Okay, let me say that again. 10 rushing attempts for 8 yards. Mr. Superstar last week he had 17. The week before it's 17 for 94. The week before that 27 for 139. But nope, this week he had 10 rushes for 8 yards. If you were trusting Dameon Pierce to help you, he completely failed you, and you probably lost your week because he was supposed to be your superstar, and he let you down. This is the reason. Look, he's gonna bounce back. He's gonna be fine. He plays the Dolphins this week. Now the Dolphins got Bradley Chubb. We'll see. But the Dolphins have been able to be run on. I feel like they haven't been able to. They did contain Nick Chubb a couple weeks ago.
They did.
Was surprising for the most part. He did have a long run, but they did a very good job of Nick Chubb.
He's actually involved a lot in the passing game that game too.
Exactly. Weird. So I think that there's probably going to be a similar game plan to Dameon Pierce because basically defenses are, look, if you stop Dameon Pierce, all you got to do is worry about Davis Mills. I think you're going to be just fine. But yeah, Dameon Pierce is my Glizzy Gobbler of the week. He'll bounce back, but he deserves this L after this.
That is disgusting. That's my boy, man. But he's definitely going to bounce back. This is bounce back season for him. But don't be down.
But yo, I think it's time for waivers, my guy. We gotta talk. We gotta get to waivers.
Yeah, let's skate through these waivers. I mean, let's get to the quarterbacks first. We're gonna get to the obvious. There's no teams on bye this week, by the way. So we get all the teams this week, and I really feel as though the quarterback position is kind of up and down. So how do you feel about Taylor Heinicke now that he's named the starting quarterback for the rest of the season? He's available out there on the waiver wire, and I feel like the rushing upside makes it a little bit attractive.
What I don't understand, man. I think they just wasted money on Carson Wentz. You've been had Taylor Heinicke Commanders on last year. He played. Why you wasted all that money on Carson? Yeah, he got hurt. He didn't look great. He wasn't targeting Terry McLaurin like we would wanted. And Taylor Heinicke, look, they were 1-4 starting off the year. They think now they're 6-5. The Commanders look really good. I like Taylor Heinicke as a streamer. I like him as a streamer, just consistently going forward, right? You don't need to stream him. So I think this week it's not as pertinent that you play him, but in 2 quarterback leagues, you can play him as your second quarterback. Whatever weeks are coming up in terms of bye, these next couple of weeks,
he's good too.
You could play him. So
situation now where Wentz is probably not coming back this season. It's like
he's not going to play. He's going to be a backup if he does. So.
Yeah, and then you got Jameis Winston who lost his job due to injury, and then you have Mac Jones that's not playing up to par. Derek Carr is hit or miss. These are situations where you have to learn to pivot and hit this waiver wire. Which brings my next name that I just said: Trevor Lawrence, Marcus Mariota, Ryan Tannehill. These are like 3 quarterbacks that are out there on the waiver wire that you can pick up. They have up and down, but you have to just play these guys by matchup, I feel as though. What do you think?
I mean, that's really what it is, right? So, with Trevor Lawrence, we got Marcus Mariota, Ryan Tannehill. It's all about playing the matchup, right? That's the keys to success. I feel like they're really more bye week filling guys, 2 QB kind of type plays. But look, there's injuries. There's the Kyler Murray. I feel like if you have Kyler Murray, for example, that's who I'm looking. I'm looking at these kind of guys here as replacement options.
Tannehill might cook up, with Treylon Burton's back, but that's why we transitioned to wide receivers right now because he's my number one. You got to pick up. I mean, that was amazing for him to do what he did in a low passing volume game, and I really feel as though this offense can take a stride on the back end going into the fantasy playoffs.
They could. I mean, it's possible. I mean, again, I feel like these guys, you don't want to play them, and obviously with Stafford, that's another example of a guy who's injured. If he's the quarterback you've been relying on, pivoted some of these guys, but no, I like those call-outs for sure. What about running backs? I feel like running backs, we've been talking a lot about running backs, but I feel like we've got a lot of injuries, man. So you want to kick it off? Well, let's talk about some of these running backs real quick.
Man, I think Samadre Pion should be at the top of your list for the game that he had because he turned up. Yeah, he turned up definitely. I like his odds of being more involved, especially with Mixon getting more banged up. Not that Mixon will get his workload cut in half, but we're going to see a lot more of schemes of involvement with Samadre Pion. So I like the upside there just in case, Mixon misses time, or if, he's just out there in the red zone doing what he's doing because he looked good in the red zone duty. So I don't know. It might be questionable, but you
No,
definitely
he's the definition of the perfect handcuff, right? So we
yeah.
once Mixon left, Samaje P. Ryan slid right in there.
Yep.
That sounds gross, but he slid right in
Yo,
there.
what's up with you today, bro?
Bro, listen, he
Not even
got it.
Thursday.
He did his thing, right? He scored 3 touchdowns. He did what he wanted to do. So this week,
Nah, he did.
and concussions are iffy, right? I don't know if Mixon's gonna clear before Sunday. So
Yeah.
Samaje P. Ryan's definitely my number one guy. And we already talked about Kyron Williams. We talked about Latavius Murray also. He should be at the I think Latavius Murray might take priority over Samaje P. Ryan for me because I'll put Latavius Murray at the top of the list because we know that Latavius Murray, he's going to be the starter for the rest of the season as long as he's healthy. I don't see anyone coming in. Maybe if they get Darrell Henderson, maybe he could do it. But Latavius Murray has proven to be an effective goal line back for the Broncos, RB1. So I think he keeps the job. Samaje P. Ryan's kind of a 1 week fill-in, but I think, yeah, that's what it is. If you just need a win this week, then Samaje might be the guy. We talked about Kyron Williams. We talked about Cam Akers. These are guys that you can pick up. But
I do have a deep dive, though. I do have
who's your deep dive?
It's Justin Jackson on the lines, and hear me out. He's been very, very productive amount of touches where he's making the best out of his opportunity. And like I said, the last 3 games, Swift has been not really involved, and he has more of a snap share than Swift the last 3 games. So he's looking like ish of the 1A 1B situation of that.
That's like a very deep league play.
Yeah, man, I'm
very deep league play. But I like it. I like the call out because look, we have a lot of people who are listening who play in deeper leagues. So Justin Jackson, if you were a deep league where the water boy isn't available, you can go get Justin Jackson. No, I'm just playing. No. I don't mind that call in the deeper league. But let's move over to wide receivers, man.
No, tight ends. We touched on wide receivers.
Oh, wait, no. Jarvis Landry and Corey Davis. You mentioned.
Oh, yeah, that's right. My bad. I mentioned.
Yeah, listen,
Corey Davis is returning back from injury. So we all know if Zach Wilson is benched and Joe Flacco's named the quarterback, or even Mike White, I feel as though they're going to
anybody that's not Zach
Wilson. Is not Zach Wilson. The wide receivers are back. They're going to be producing. The ball's going to be spread around. Garrett Wilson's going to be good, but Corey Davis is that leader. He's that veteran mouthpiece there, and I feel as though they always lean on him where he can end up having 8 to 9 targets and be like, shit, dude has like 80 yards and a touchdown. Those are one of the things that Corey Davis brings to the table. So he's definitely a guy to pick up on the return of after, missing a couple weeks.
No, I mean, I agree with both those calls. Treylon Burks, we already talked about. He balled out. He continues to ball out. Jarvis Landry, he scored.
Back
saw
from
a little
the
bit.
Dead.
He's back from the dead. He's finally a little bit healthy. Jarvis Landry, look, they brought him in. Mike Thomas, I don't know what the hell. He's gone forever. He's a ghost. Mike Thomas is a ghost. And then Jarvis Landry, he came in, and him and Olave had a good game. I think Jarvis Landry could be somebody that's a consistent contributor. I don't know if he's going to be scoring touchdowns every week, but he should be more involved in this offense. I feel like they've been looking for more help in the wide receiver position. So Jarvis Landry, if you need some help, you need a flex play in a deeper league, I don't mind that call at all. All right, now we can get to tight ends, man. So let's talk about tight ends real quick.
Listen, Trey McBride did not do much on Monday night. And I really feel as though losing Ertz. We're losing tight ends left and right. Gerald Everett growing, he's questionable. We're losing players. Dallas Goedert, like the list goes on. Kyle Pitts. So Trey McBride, he didn't do much, but he led the tight ends in snap opportunity. So that is something encouraging because we know once Kyler gets back into that offense, he's going to lean on that tight end position if he can. So Trey McBride was like a top, tight end prospect coming out of college. And the landing spot was a little questionable, but I think he's in a good spot rest of the season where he could see a nice target share.
No, I agree. I think that Trey McBride, highly talented out of college, spent a second-round pick on him. Very solid prospect. We haven't seen him do a lot this year, but I think like you said, with the Zach Ertz injury, I think that we see him emerge a little bit. We haven't really seen him and Kyler be able to make that connection. So hopefully Kyler's healthy. Then I think we can see a little bit of upside with Trey McBride. And we got, like I said, we got Juwan Johnson, who's been scoring touchdowns left and right. I think he's my favorite option on the. He's my favorite option.
Last
and
couple.
then, yeah, Evan Ingram, Austin Hooper, Logan Thomas. There's a bunch of tight ends. Look, we know tight ends are gross. They're a little iffy.
They're gonna put them points. You got to put them in the lineup, man. That's how it comes down to right now in the back end of the season.
Exactly. It's really hard to predict tight ends, but basically almost anyone with a pulse who's starting, who gets somewhat of a decent target share.
3 to 4 targets per game is like the bar. That is actually good for the tight end, the dead zone we're at right now.
It's a very sad bar, but I digress. All right, y'all. We about to get into this chat real quick, man. I know everybody usually has a lot of questions, so we're here to help y'all out, man. It's getting very close to playoff week, so we are here to help you with all your questions. So make sure you're liking the video. Make sure you're dropping your questions. LQ and I are going to we're here to help. We're here to help you. We got you. We want to make sure you're winning your playoffs. So whatever questions you got, even if it's a small question, drop them in here quick while we rocking. So, okay, let's go in here, man. I saw some questions earlier. Let's get to it. All right, we're going to start out with Toronto Dave. Toronto Dave asks us PPR. Start DJ Moore or AJ Dillon. Bro, I'm glad I had my dinner a while ago because I ain't trying to barf all over the screen. What we saying? So, who do you want, man? Who would you rather start, DJ Moore or AJ Dillon? Man?
It's been up and down with that running game with AJ Dillon involvement, and I just don't see them having anything consistent with AJ Dillon involvement in the offense. So, just give me the target share leader over there, and in Carolina with DJ Moore.
Yeah, this is pretty easy for me. AJ Dillon. Oof, waste of a draft pick. In terms of fantasy draft picks. He's been awful this year. And a lot of people had a lot of high expectations. So AJ Dillon, absolutely not. I am going DJ Moore as well. Okay. Toronto Dave, also another question. PPR, Pittman or Lenny?
Damn, who the Bucks play this week? That's a good one, actually, because I'm in that same situation in my flex. But off top, I'm gonna go with Pittman just based on Matt Ryan back in there. He's gonna be throwing the ball 35 times a game, so it only makes sense to give me somebody that's gonna see a lot of targets.
I mean, I feel like with Lenny, we'll see if he's healthy.
White game.
And then Rashad White is eating into his target share, so that scares me a little bit. Pittman, the wide receiver one on the team. I think that Colts are gonna be throwing a lot.
Pitt's defense is kind of ass.
I lean Pittman here as well. Okay, Toronto Dave. Also appreciate you, Toronto Dave. Also another question: Mac Hollins or Cam Akers?
Disgusting.
Oh, ew. This is gross. I think I actually don't hate the Mac Hollins pick.
Mac Hollins.
He's the wide receiver 2 on the team. He's somehow getting targets. I might be, but I'm trying to be fair to Cam.
They got Seattle.
Okay, you know what? I'm going Cam Akers. I don't want to be too disrespectful.
I'm going Mac.
Okay, I'm going Cam. I'm with that. I'm gonna have a little faith in Cam Akers. I don't have a lot of faith, but I have a little tiny bit of faith. All right, here we go. Terrell says Slayton or Sutton this week. I know who I'm going with. Who are you going with?
I kind of like Sutton, but Slayton's that sneaky starter where he puts up like 12 points and you're happy. Sutton could shit the bed this week. I mean, damn. You know what? Risk it for the biscuit. Give me Slayton. Keep me accountable.
I'm going opposite. I am going Sutton. So split decision, Terrell.
36. I'm going Slayton over Sutton this week.
All right. We're going to have to clip this and we'll see who was right. All right. Pacheco or Pierce? So is this Alec Pierce? Because if it's Damian Pierce, then Damian Pierce. It has to be Damian Pierce.
A low rushing bomb over there. I don't get excited for Kansas City running backs ever. So
I'm going Damian Pierce. I know he had a bad game. He was our Glizzy Gobbler of the week. Yeah, but I am still going to go Damian Pierce on that one. Look, I get the question. He was not good, but I'm going to have faith that he is going to bounce back.
He will.
All right, we're going to get to a few more questions. All right. Slayton or DPJ? Who do you prioritize to pick up rest of season? Eileen DPJ with Watson coming back. Oh yeah, it's Donovan Peoples-Jones, but not just that, but Donovan Peoples-Jones. I believe I don't have the stat in front of me right now, but I think he's been topping 70 yards consistently for the last few weeks. He has that rapport with Jacoby Myers. Sorry, not Jacoby Myers, Jacoby Brissett. I don't know what it's going to look like with Deshaun Watson, but Deshaun Watson is a better quarterback than Jacoby. So I like the upside with Watson way better. So I think you should go Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Absolutely. Right. No
Q&A. 3 strong trade targets to get now for the playoff push. Ooh.
Playoffs.
That is playoffs. So, I mean,
it gets weird because off the top of my head, the first player is George Pickens because he's cooking up.
George, I like that call.
That is one of the players you can get for fairly minimum right now for cheap. You're not giving up too much to go get him, but that's my number one guy because I'm actually trying to finesse my way into getting him on my roster too.
You know this is kind of a gross one, and I know a lot of people are probably going to disagree with me, but somebody can probably get for kind of cheap if you need a running back who isn't going to go away.
Grinning. This is about to be fucking foul.
Bro, I think Zeke Elliott, but now listen. Listen, bro. The Cowboys, what they did, they rolling. And Zeke with a healthy Dak, he's involved in the offense. They've been using him at the goal line. With Cooper Rush, Zeke wasn't involved at all. But look, he just scored a bunch of touchdowns. I feel like with Zeke, with Dak in the lineup, they're using Zeke on the goal line. Like we saw what we saw last game. They tried to give the ball to Tony Pollard on the goal line a couple times. He got stuffed. Gave it to Zeke. Guess what? Basically walked in. They know that they're going
I don't
to
hate it. My face at all. I don't
because they're going to continue. Because look, Tony Pollard, he's the man. He's great, but let's be honest, guys. Zeke is not going to go away. And if I was telling you, and he's not an expensive running back because most people are off of Zeke. Tony Pollard obviously has more juice. He looks more explosive. He's the better back. But if it's somebody for a trade target that you can not have to spend too much money on, and if you're just looking for a running back that is in an offense that's trending upward and is going to be the goal line dude and is going to get touchdowns, it's Zeke. And again, it depends because there's a lot of guys you can trade for that's going to cost you your whole team. But if you're looking, and I'll tell you right now, another guy I traded for, Jamal Williams. Jamal Williams is somebody who, again, I traded a second for because for my playoff push, he's leading the league in touchdowns. And then if somebody's worried that Swift is going to be involved, no, like Jamal Williams is going to continue to do his thing because Dan Campbell, like he likes to give the ball to Jamal Williams at the goal line. So yeah, he's another guy that I would like to trade for cheap. Are there any other ones that you would go for? Like wide receiver, tight end?
Not off the top of my head. Tight ends, nah, I'm staying away. It's not worth it, especially in redraft. You could just stream every week. But
I mean, maybe
number one.
Maybe Njoku. I know he hasn't been healthy, but we haven't seen him in a while with Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, we haven't seen him with Watson. I mean,
yeah,
that's nasty work though. If we're trading for David Njoku right now at this point in the season, because somebody's going to want a high price for that, and I'm not willing to pay for that. Because with the question mark of Watson coming back and just the Browns' offense in general, like I really think it runs through Nick Chubb. Like it was cool to see. David Njoku get his, yards after yards for the first 4 weeks or whatever. But, like, now that Watson's coming in, this offense might completely turn around.
Maybe. We shall see. All right. Fizzle also. Will Deshaun Watson help or change the momentum of players like Chubb? Yeah. And that's a great question. I think I want to temper people's but here's the thing. I want to temper people's expectations. Deshaun Watson, everyone knows what happened to him. I ain't got to go into details. But we haven't seen this man play in like 2 years. It's really hard to expect that because he's about to start. He hasn't played a football game, started a football game in like a million years. Are we expecting him to come first start and just look like Deshaun Watson of old? I highly doubt it. I think that we're going to, and I could be wrong. Maybe he comes and he's like, hey,
doesn't have Will Fuller. Like it's completely a different situation.
It's a good offensive line. He has the weapons. So I think he's in a good position, but it's just I think for the next maybe 1 to 2 weeks, I don't think he's just Deshaun Watson. I don't think he just ends up being like, oh guys, he's a QB1. No, it's just anyone. I don't care. Even if it's Patrick Mahomes. If Patrick Mahomes didn't play for 2 years and came back at his first start, he's not gonna look like Patrick Mahomes. I don't care what it is. I don't care what other practice you're doing. If you're not playing a real game,
called game speed in forever, and
yeah,
it's a whole different ball game when you're out there. You can see a transition from the last preseason game until week 1, 2, and 3. Like people look crazy out there. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So I think he's going to be fine. Yes, he's absolutely going to be good for all of them. I just don't think he's going to be an immediate thing.
No.
Okay. Michael says Rashad White or Jamal Williams.
Ooh, this week, give me. Well, we don't know the format, but give me White over Jamal this week.
He said full PPR.
Oh, you did?
I'm still going Jamal, man, and I get it because I'm going Jamal still. I feel like
defense is. It's kind of serious, man. I don't know if Jamal gets into the end zone this week because they only allowed 3 rushing touchdowns since week 5. So.
If anyone's gonna find a way to score a rushing touchdown, it's Jamal Williams.
I don't know if they make it that close. Is where I'm getting at.
Well, we didn't expect them to beat a lot of people didn't expect them to beat the Giants, and they look really good.
Even Giants fans knew they were gonna lose.
No, it's a trap game, but they didn't expect them to lose like the way they did. Like the Lions
ran it up, but I along with some of my people that are back in Jersey that are Giants fans, they knew that shit was a trap. It was a dub.
All right. Michael also asked Watson or Olave. I'm guessing Christian Watson. Yeah. Wait, Watson.
Yeah,
I'm guessing Christian. Yeah, Christian Watson. Olave.
This is hard for me. I'll go with Olave. I think the momentum has slowed down for Watson.
Okay. Burks or I'm going where? Ooh. I think Burks to me is the wide receiver 1 on his team. Where I don't know if we're going to see the same because what happened last game is that they focused everything on stopping Derrick Henry. So the Titans did the smart thing and threw the ball. What you should do, but they threw the ball a lot. I think Burks has higher upside and we can see him leading the team in target share. DPJ has had a very good season. I think he's going to be consistent out of these two. I think we kind of seen what DPJ is. He's still going to be the wide receiver 2 on his team. I think we could see Burks potentially he should be the wide receiver 1 on his team. They drafted him to be. So I'm going to lean Burks.
Same. You broke it down perfectly. I'll go Burks as well.
Okay, bro. So Jets D versus Chicago or Miami D versus Houston. I'll let you take this one.
If Fields doesn't play, obviously you go Jets, man, because Houston's going to run the ball on Miami, and Miami have been giving up big plays recently this last couple of weeks. So I'm going Jets just flat out with, what we got.
So trade targets, this is also a good one. I really like that as well. I've actually done this myself. Mostert, I am less excited about, but I do like that call out. Jeff Wilson is.
Why do you hate your own players, bro?
I don't hate him. I just like the Jeff Wilson call out. I really like that. Good job, Mr. Scampers. I really do like that. Okay, Dynasty Barry. Curtis Samuel or Treylon Burks this week? Ooh.
I like Samuel, but he's been quiet.
He scored. He just scored. I'm gonna go Treylon. I'm hoping that it might not. Maybe he doesn't put up the same stat line, but hopefully after that type of performance, we see him more consistently involved in the offense. He's healthy now. I'm gonna go Treylon.
I'm gonna go Curtis Samuel against the Falcons, man. They just been giving up big plays and terrible against the slot.
You're right. No, you know what, man. I actually don't hate that call. Dynasty Barry, it's close. It's close, man. But I feel like, but you have Jahan Dotson, you have Terry McLaurin, you got a lot of other options. I feel like Titans don't have as many options. But look, we play everyone against the Falcons, so I think you can't go wrong either way. All right, Big Trev, is it okay to play Vanilla Vic this week?
What the hell is this?
Daniel Jones, bro. Our favorite to win.
Vic,
only other decent option would be T-Law. No, I am playing Daniel Jones over T-Law.
Vanilla Vic. That is some sick
No,
shit.
that's his nickname, bro. That's his
Yeah,
nickname.
that's some sick shit.
Oh yeah, Damian Pierce. Damian Harris. I like that because
He is also dirt cheap. I actually
Yeah.
seen some transitions or transactions in recent weeks.
I like that call out. Trade Zeke for Amari Cooper. Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Trade Zeke for any of them in a heartbeat. Last question, Mr. Scampers. Half PPR, Singletary, Devonta Smith. Ooh.
Too high.
I like Devontae Smith because with Zach Ertz out, we saw him, not Zach Ertz, Dallas Goddard. We saw him being more involved.
But
Yeah.
different. But still.
Yeah, same thing, but different. We saw him more involved in the offense. Hopefully, that's more things to come. But I like Devonta Smith.
I'm gonna go Singletary. Go against the grain. Thanksgiving. Give me a Turkey Day touchdown, Singletary.
Turkey Day touchdown. All right, I see
Turkey
you, man.
Turkey or ham.
Oh, definitely. I like ham, bro. I think turkey's overrated, bro.
What? So you a ham on Thanksgiving type of fella?
Yeah, bro. I mean, like, I'll eat turkey, but like, I don't really care about it as much, bro. It's just there. I just eat turkey because it's turkey was there, but I never eaten deep fried turkey. I bet it'd be delicious, but I've never had it.
Fucking fire! You don't
ever go back
eating it regular in the oven baked or nothing after that, bro.
I need to have that. But all right, y'all. That's it for us tonight. I want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in to TL Fantasy Football. Once again, make sure y'all liking this video. It really helps us out a lot. Make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube page and make sure you're following us everywhere. LQ, where can they find you, my brother?
You can find me at Real Deal Fantasy on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and maybe MySpace soon. But over here at Destination Debbie, we're putting out fire content only every Tuesday. Same time, 7 to 8 every Tuesday. And you can catch us next Thursday.
We're not doing Thursday halftime show this Thursday because it is Thanksgiving. But next Thursday, we'll be back to our regular scheduled program. We miss it, man. We miss rocking with y'all. But yes, Tuesdays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure y'all are locked in, tuned in. Thank y'all so much for everything. Y'all have yourselves a good night.